the location of the Holy Grail, a Martian landscape, the first Philadelphia in history, and the coolest royal couple. All of that and more you can find in this beautiful compact country in the Middle East. I am Lex Universe, and this is the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan.
Hello Internet, welcome to Lex Universe. So, you can guess which country we talk about today. So I believe that this horrible abomination I tried to create on my head speaks for itself, and it at least gives you a hint that we're talking about an Arabic country. And more specifically, we will talk today about Jordan. So stay tuned and let's go for it. So first of all, before I get you a pretense for the World War III, I'm really sorry for this on my head. I just wanted to feel a little bit Middle Eastern here with me. Now let's start with the basics. Jordan can be found in the Middle East. It's just east of Israel and of the Palestinian territories. It borders also with Syria to the north, Iraq to the east, and Saudi Arabia to the south. There's also a very short, like 26 kilometers of coastline around the city of Aqaba in the Gulf of Aqaba. The climate in Jordan is quite dry and quite hot, and the best time to visit is around spring and autumn on the northern hemisphere, of course. But also during winter the place is kind of moderate, and while it's located mostly in desert, then in the northwestern part where you can find some mountains, it gets real rainy a lot, and sometimes you can even find snow, which is kind of interesting in the Middle East, isn't it? So from the travel point, let's address the basics again. They use the currency of the Jordanian dinar, which is a little bit more expensive than American dollar. They use type C, E, F, G, and H plug outlets, so it's quite confusing. But anyway, if you are a European, then most of the hotels and most of the public places have the typical Euro plugin, so you will be okay, but bring the adapter with you. Also, in most cases they don't flush the toilet paper, and in many cases there isn't any toilet paper, so if you want to go to do number 2, then bring your own. And they drive on the right side of the road. I mean, by the way, watch this thing, because I believe that over the span of this video this will look worse and worse, and I cannot even guarantee that I will be wearing it for the whole span of the video. The official language is Arabic. English is kind of spoken in the main tourist places. Otherwise some basic phrases in Arabic would be kind of useful for you. Right, so how can you get to Jordan? I mean, we live in the 21st century, so your best option will be to fly in. There are 2 main airports. I mean, there is 1 main airport and 1 airport that can be used or can't be, I don't know. Anyway, most of the international flights arrive at Queen Alia International Airport in Amman. There is also a smaller international airport in the coastal town of Aqaba. Most of the nationalities will require a visa, but the good thing is that basically almost everyone in the world, except for some like 30 countries or so, can get the visa on arrival, and these vary in prices depending on how long you want to stay. The cheapest one costs 40 dinar, and it's for like 3 months. Then there is a little more expensive one for 6 months, and the most expensive one costs 120 dinar, and it's for half a year, and you have multiple entries. When I speak about visa, it's really important to point out that there is a much better option. You can get the thing called Jordan Pass. This is a feature provided by the government of Jordan, and it includes the visa if you stay at least 3 nights in Jordan. And also it will cover entrance fee to several of the Jordanian tourist attractions. Most importantly, you will get there your visit in Petra. There is 1-day visit in Petra, 2-day visit in Petra, and 3-day visits to Petra. The cheapest one costs 70 dinar, the more expensive one 75, and 3 days cost 80 dirham. You have to So what you have to keep in mind is you will pay 40 dinar at least for the visa anyway, and then the entrance to Petra is something around 40 dinar as well. So even if you don't intend to visit anything else but Petra, this Jordan Pass already is rentable for you. So really keep it in mind. You can get this on the website jordanpass.jo. Now regarding the Queen Alia Airport in Amman, if you want to get to the city, there is some airport express. They will take you to the northern bus terminal Tarbadur in the outskirts of Amman. But if you want to live somewhere downtown, where all the major tourist attractions are, you're out of luck. You will then have to take a taxi to get to the center. I think it may pay off for you to just get a taxi from the airport directly to your accommodation. There is actually a fixed price of 20 Jordan dinar. So there is like this counter where you will order a taxi. They will give you this piece of paper, call a car for you. It will take you downtown. You will not have to haggle for price or anything. This is official airport taxi. So you can also arrive by boat to Aqaba, but there is basically just the ferry to Egypt. There are also some long distance buses that go internationally. There are some direct buses to Tel Aviv, and also you can take a bus from Saudi Arabia. Just think about the fact that Saudi Arabia is actually quite large and there are no major settlements to the north of the country, so like the bus drive from Riyadh to Amman could take like 24 hours in the desert, so that's probably not something you want to do anyway. But it's a viable option. But most often when it comes to international travel, these buses or minibuses will just take you to the border, then you have to cross the border, and then you have to get another bus on the other side of the border. Good, now we have crossed the border and you're in Jordan. How do you get around? So there you have basically just two options. The first one, and probably the most convenient one, and that is to rent a car. Just when it comes to driving, it's relatively safe. The main highway from Amman to Aqaba is kind of modern, although the funny thing is I think there are actually some speed bumps on the highway, so just don't expect you to drive too quickly. They don't recommend you to drive after dark because many Jordanians kind of have this idea that it's much safer to drive with your lights off, so I don't know. Maybe it's your thing, maybe you're a hazardous player, go for it, but anyway, it's not really recommended. If you are a coward like me or like you're unable to drive, then there are buses and minibuses in Jordan. I guess the most convenient way if you want to get to the main cities and to the main tourist attractions is the company Jet, G-E-T-T, and that's basically like this tourist bus travel agency. You can visit their website jet.com.jo. You can find there all the schedules for all of their main roads. So the main bus terminal in Amman is the so-called Tarbadur. In case you want to use a taxi to get there, this is how you write it in Arabic. They don't call it this name, it's just like some international name of the terminal. I don't know why it's called differently. But anyway, if I try to use this name, they had no idea what I was talking about. So just show them this, how it's written in Arabic, and it'll be okay. There are basically almost no buses in Amman, and so you will have to get taxi or one of these shared taxis which are called Servi. Just shout out to my video about Palestine, it's pretty much the same system. Right, so most of the international connections from Amman depart from this terminal, but actually the exception is the jet line to Petra. It departs from the former Abdali bus terminal. This is already closed, but there is still the ticket counter and the office for the jet company. Just basically in front of the office, there is a bus stop where the buses for Petra depart every day. Your next option is to get some organized tours, but this is actually quite pricey from time to time, so I cannot recommend it to you. But if you don't want to deal with any of that shit and you want to have some kind of a and you want to have some pickup in front of the hotel or stuff like that, and this is probably the best option for you. And if you want to travel to some smaller cities or towns or villages, there is the public transportation system that actually the locals use, and these are the minibuses. I have talked about them in almost every video that I produce. These are like this minibuses where you just enter. It has some final destination written on it, and you can basically just hop in and hop out anywhere along the road. And like I said, you can use a taxi. Always insist on meter taxi. If they don't want, then you need to haggle the price before and make sure that what they're telling you is the price for the whole ride, not the price for the person. It's kind of common that they tell you some lower price. It looks amazing, and then it's 4 of you and each one of you needs to pay this. So I mean, you don't want to get into argument with taxi driver somewhere, so that's the thing. I mean, if you don't want to go through any of that, there is Uber in Jordan. You can take advantage of that. Now let's talk prices. If you have the feeling that you will travel to Jordan and you will experience some amazing third world cheap prices, then please wake up. That's not the case. I mean, Jordan is still cheaper than, for example, Israel, but it's definitely not the cheapest country I've ever been to. The prices are pretty much the same like in Western Europe, so just keep it in mind. And the services are not that great, so that's kind of a problem. And of course, like, imagine that if you are a tourist and you will go there and they will realize that you are a foreigner, which they will, because you will wear something this horrible, then they will try to rip you off. It's just, I don't know, it's like not something specifically Jordanian, just happened to me in many places, so just keep it in mind. Actually, haggling on the streets is quite common there. Unless you see a price written on something, it's open for bargaining. On the other hand, in most restaurants, the prices are actually fixed. So when it comes to dining, I believe the dishes are pretty much the same in all the Arab world. You can get shawarma, it's just like this. I don't know, I have this this feeling that from Greece to Iran, they have all the same dish, and they call it differently in every place. It's like this meat with sauce and some bread. Yeah. So yeah, that's shawarma. Then you can get falafel. It's like my most favorite food ever. I love it. I would like a falafel now. Never mind. So that's the thing. When it comes to drinking, alcohol is legal in Jordan, but it's like fucking expensive. You can buy it mostly only in some alcohol shops or in certain bars or restaurants, but don't count on any good prices. Since it's a Muslim country and most of the inhabitants don't drink it, then it's really quite expensive. You can also go to one of these shisha bars that are all around. They are all around Amman or even in other places. You can like soak this amazing Arabic atmosphere there, get a nice shisha. When we're talking about like going out, then also consider that you should be dressed kind of modestly. You know, to be honest, Jordan is actually quite liberal among the Islamic countries. I mean, have you ever seen the royal couple, like the King Abdullah II and Queen Rania? I mean, they're like the coolest royal couple in the world, and I definitely recommend you to Google them because they're really, really cool. So on them you can see that actually like the clothes and the way you dress is not that important in Jordan, but still you should consider that if you go to some of these religious places, no matter whether they are mosques or there are some of these archaeological zones, you should like at least cover your knees and cover your shoulders. It's respectful, even though nobody will probably like throw you out. And since we have now covered how to do things in Jordan, let's talk now what to do. And now I will tell you some of my most favorite tourist attractions in the whole country. And let's start with the main one. I mean, we all know it, we have all seen it. It's on the list of the 7 new wonders of the world, which there's like almost everything on this list, but this is one that appears almost on everyone, and that's the old desert town of Petra. You will find this along the main desert highway from Amman to Aqaba. It's kind of accessible even for one-day trips from Amman, even though it's a little stretch then. So I would probably recommend you to get the 2-day visit pass. I mean, I'm getting back to the Jordan Pass. Definitely get it. You will have the entrance to Petra covered. And think how long you will want to stay there. So if you want to go there from Amman and you don't want to drive, there is one daily service by the jet bus. It departs from Amman at 6:30 a.m. and then it returns from Petra at 5 p.m. and in winter times at 4 p.m. which will give you several hours to walk around Petra, which, to be honest, it's not enough. Yeah, we were there on the day trip and really we had to rush through all the places in Petra. We managed to visit most of them, but it was really tight. Allow yourself more time and stay overnight. What you can actually visit in Petra, it's actually quite large. It's the whole valley. So as you enter, you go 2 kilometers through the so-called Seek. It's like this very narrow valley among the sandstone rocks. Then you will get to Treasury, which is the most famous place. That's where you'll find the Holy Grail, and then you have to choose wisely and get the right one, and then you will live forever. Right, no, that's not true. That's just Indiana Jones. Anyway. And then you go through the valley, you'll see all other landmarks, and then you will have to climb kind of steep road all the way to the so-called monastery, which is the second most well-known place in Petra, and it's totally worth it. So that's probably the thing that will take you most time, because it's the furthest point. You can get a donkey that will carry you around. I mean, it's like your life and your conscience, but honestly, I would really recommend you not to do this. These animals are extremely mistreated there. It's really well known for this, and I mean, honestly, it's not actually even a ride. So you will not ride much quicker than when you would walk. And yeah, don't support this. It's really awful. Another major tourist attraction in Jordan is the so-called Wadi Rum. It's like this amazing canyon, or the whole natural reserve in the south of Jordan, not that far from Petra actually. I mean, this is basically Mars on Earth. I mean, seriously, they even filmed the film Martian here. And if you want to have the best pictures, just bring some spacesuit. It will look really cool. There are no public bus lines from Amman, so if you want to go there from Amman, you will have it will be a little more difficult for you. I mean, I would definitely not recommend to go there for one day. So you can just take a jet bus from Amman to Aqaba, and from Aqaba then you can take a taxi, take you to Wadi Rum. There are some Bedouin camps where you can stay overnight, which is kind of an interesting experience on itself, and then you can see the amazing sunrise on Mars. Isn't that cool? Another amazing tourist destination is not that far from Amman. It's just a few kilometers to the north, and it's the amazing city of Jerash, where you will find these old ancient ruins. You can actually take a minibus from the Tarbabur bus terminal. It costs 1 Jordanian dinar, just really cool. And the trip takes about 40 minutes, I think. The entrance fee to the area costs 10 dinar, but if you have the Jordan Pass, you have it for free. I mean, I'm like, now I look like I'm doing a great advertisement for the Jordan Pass, but I mean, I am, because it's like the best thing in Jordan, really. Like, whatever you want to do there, get this, because it really pays off, whatever you want to do. Another place that you can visit in Jordan is the Dead Sea. I mean, I've covered this already in my Israel video, so I will not spend much time on it. Just keep in mind you can get there. So among other places that you can visit in Jordan, there are like hundreds of these desert castles. Probably the most famous of them is Ailun. You will find it not that far from Jerash or Amman, so you can do it all at once in a day trip. There are some organized tours there, so that's what you want to do. And let's finish with the capital. Amman is actually kind of an interesting city. First thing that you will notice, it's really hilly, and there's like like getting anywhere in Amman is kind of a challenge. So just I don't know, if you are if you are lazy, or if you have a lot of money, then hire a car for the whole day. It will make your life a lot easier. But if you want to walk, just prepare for a lot of climbing and a lot of very narrow streets. And it's generally not very pleasant, because when you walk among these tourist attractions, there's not much to see. But what are the things that are worth visiting in Amman? So probably the most important landmark of Amman is the Amman Citadel. There is the former acropolis of the Roman city of Philadelphia, and also many of the Islamic structures that have been built over the history. Probably the most prominent part of the citadel is the Umayyad Palace. Then you can visit the Roman Amphitheater. Both of these things are actually included in the Jordan Pass. See, in case you couldn't tell, I really love the Jordan Pass. You can also stop by the Abdullah First Mosque. It's very nice Islamic architecture. And in case you're interested in a little bit of history, then you can visit the Jordan Museum, where you can actually find some of the very famous Dead Sea Scrolls. That's what you're interested in. Well, and that's Jordan. I mean, if you're looking for some taste of the Middle East, or you don't want to visit something super fake like Dubai, then I believe that Jordan is like the best candidate. They're very friendly towards tourists. The tourist infrastructure is actually quite developed there, or it has developed a lot in the past few years. There are some cheap flights from Europe, because Ryanair has actually opened a hub in Amman, so that's very convenient. So I really hope that you found this video interesting, that it hyped you up for Jordan, that I could give you something that you didn't know, that I was helpful for you. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, check out my other social media, check out the previous videos in this series in case you're interested in some other places around the world, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.